What up, YouTube? AlexUA, come back at you with another custom StarCraft 2 cast. Today we have a 1 versus 1 matchup featuring what is technically the StarCraft 2 All Races mod, which puts multiple StarCraft 2 mods into one game. But the race featured today is the Keiron from the Scion Custom Races mod. Let's go ahead and introduce our players. Spawning on the bottom left-hand side of the map, it's our red Terran player, AlexUA, going up against his opponent. Spawning on the top right-hand side of the map, it's our yellow Keiron player, you. So a bit of vanilla versus modded StarCraft today. Now, if you're new to this channel, I do cast and cover a lot of custom StarCraft 2 content. If that's something you're interested in watching more of, please consider subscribing to my channel. We are well on the road to 10K, and it is absolutely crazy. Anyways, you coming down to the left-hand side of the map, and we'll spot what is a reactor being placed on a barracks and a factory on the way as well. Alex, my guy, are you going for a double Hellion opener? That would be hilarious. Now, you is a very strong StarCraft player. I do hope he spotted that correctly. Now, there was a little bit of a skirmish here between the two workers, the SCV and the converter, our sort of probe equivalent. And what else do we have? Looks like the natural base has been placed for you as well as for Alex. I mean, it's halfway on the way for Alex. Taking a look at the production tab, I don't see any army supply actually being built. In fact, you going for a third base. Meanwhile, 2 Hellions on the way for Alex. I was right. Is this an... Okay, no, this is a tech lab. I was like, is this another reactor? But no, it is not. It's not even on the production tab. I was not looking at that. Anyways, these 2 Hellions, the goated Hellions, riding across the map towards the top right-hand side. They will spot what is a relatively under-defended natural base. I mean, we've got 2 volts here, and they are ranged, and they do a decent amount of damage. As you can see, the Hellions already taking a few hits, but riding into the main base, these Volts trying their best to protect the mineral line. It looks like a Pulsar here as well, which is a great response because it can shoot and move at the same time. The only issue is it does not have a lot of range. Another Volt being warped in to the natural base location, and you know what? Only 1 worker killed? No, actually no workers killed. 1 unit killed, no workers killed in that engagement. What a great defense, actually. 1 Hellion surviving, the other one going down, and oh man, we got the Echoes on the way. What else do we have? Okay, another Echo right here. Now, the Echo, this is an interesting unit because it does harassment a little bit differently. It does shoot up and down, but its sonic image ability... Oh, no, sorry, its Discord mode allows it to do this. So the sonic image is basically like a slingshot ability where it can place like a shade and then it can bounce back to it. And the Discord mode effectively slows down mining and production, but it does not slow down energy generation. I did check that. And also, it looks like its cloak is upgraded. So now it's cloaked until this. Oh man, the double Widow Mine though, perfectly taking out that Echo. We've got 1 more right here. You was not able to slingshot that one to safety, and another one in the main base will potentially go down. I want to see you save this one though. On top of that, on the mini map, we see movement here from our red player. Are we going to see a scan? We shall see. I'm going to try and keep an eye on that. We got a lot more Hellions on the way, though, as well as a Banshee. So much chaos right now. This Echo is still very much alive, and you know what? I don't know if you has eyes on that because the Hellions have entered the natural base location. You warping in a bunch of Volts, and the Banshee on the left-hand side of all of this, not making itself known just yet, but I think it does have Cloak researched. Taking a look on the minimap as well, that Echo is still alive in the main base. There was a scan though, and looks like, oh, nice work. You able to bounce it back to that shade, and now we've got the Banshee with 1 worker kill right here. How many workers killed total this game? 7 workers killed so far, now 8 killed by our red Terran player. Oh no, the Banshee cloaking. Do we have any option for detection? We've got the Elysium, which does allow for a Crux, which has its, I think, Beholder ability, which gives it detection for 15 seconds. Oh, nice. Here we go. The Crux. I was like, I don't see a Crux, though. So here we go. The Crux, using its Beholder ability, will be able to spot that Banshee and save the main mineral line, and the Oculus on the way as well. Now, the Oculus, this is a detector, but it also gives you map vision, permanent map vision, anywhere it casts its reveal spell. Now, the Oculus is right here. Using reveal, where is that reveal circle though? Okay, excuse me for the cut. I could not find it. Here it is. So that is permanent vision for the Keiron player until the Oculus is destroyed, basically. So yeah, it's really frustrating to deal with because usually the Oculi are chilling at the base for the Keiron, and as you know, attacking the base is not necessarily an easy thing. Another Oculus being placed right here, and great timing actually, because the Banshee just now, actually two of them entering the main base for our Keiron player, but getting absolutely rejected. And you know what? Let's take a look at the worker supply. 50 SCVs to 52 converters. So even though Yu is on 3 bases, he did lose 15 workers this game, which is putting Alex in a pretty decent position, especially because just now he's putting down his 3rd base. Oh man, these Banshees really trying hard to put in some work right here. One of the edifices being attacked, but you know what? Maybe I would put one more Oculus like in the mineral line, or maybe even some static defense, like anti-air static defense, just to deal with that so you don't have to move around your whole army. It's not necessarily ideal. At the same time, Yu is a much stronger StarCraft 2 player than I am. And he's handling the harassment really well, all things considered. 17 workers killed total now this game by our red player. No workers killed by Yu, so keep that in mind. Oh, and the Pulsar, I believe, got fused. So there is a unit that its whole existence is to be sacrificed. But instead of something like a Baneling, it actually has the opposite effect where it gives your unit some buffs. So like a shield buff rather than doing splash damage and dying. And in this case, it gives, I believe, like, yep, plus 375 maximum shields, which is insane. Now the Pulsar has 425 max shields, comparing it to the 500 shields on the Citadel. So this thing has the shield of what is a main mining structure almost, which is hilarious. More vaults being warped in to the 3rd base location. Now, one thing I forgot to mention, if you are new to this channel, is the macro mechanics are kind of like a mix between the Zerg and the Protoss, I would say. You warp things in, but you can only warp things in around your main mining structure, in this case a Citadel, and your macro structures give you warp charges. So as you can see, there's a loading bar here. Once that completes, that's a warp charge for you, and you can warp something in to any base that you have, which is cool, but it also kind of changes up the cheese, because if you want to do some macro play, what am I saying? If you want to do some proxy play, you actually have to build a Citadel across the map. I don't think I've seen that before. Maybe one time I saw it, so we don't see it too often. Oh, here we go, though. A lot of movement from our red Terran player, the Hellions, morphing into Hellbats, and putting in a lot of work, actually. How many workers killed right now? 42 workers killed total by our Terran player. More Hellions here in the 3rd base location. Yu is really being spread thin with his army. At this point, we do have a nullifier on the way that is anti-ground static defense. These Hellions not morphed into Hellbats, but they will ultimately go down. I think they put in their work, though. Taking a look at the worker supply, what is it? 41 converters, our probe equivalents to 63 SCVs. AlexUA is putting in a hell of a match right now. These Widow Mines just doing a little bit of work here as well, catching the Keiron army a little bit off guard. This Pulsar with 1 kill is fused. I don't see any other fuses on the map. I do want to point one out once they morph. Actually, wait a minute. Right here. I guess I can't really see them. There's 3 of them. They're a flying unit. They're really tiny. And that you know that a unit is fused when you see that shell around a unit. For example, around that Pulsar that has the shields of almost a Citadel, which is hilarious. Anyways, this is a very hard army to break. You know what? I really like the mech play from AlexUA. Is he going to morph this into a planetary fortress? That would be hilarious. The placement of this command center is very sus. Right now, it's not putting in any work, but I guess that's fine. Oh, man, Liberator's on the way. Alex, my guy, you are doing so well at keeping up with the harassment. There it is, the Stratus anti-air static defense. Not technically a detector, but you could support it with an Oculus or a Crux for that matter. Oh man, this Banshee finding some vulnerabilities in the defenses for the yellow Keiron player. The Liberators here as well, kind of locking down both base number 2 and 3. Meanwhile, this army here, the Keiron army, is just chilling far away from home. You know what? This is turning out to be a really interesting game. I was not expecting this. Just so much harassment, which I feel like we don't usually see against the Keiron for some reason. This scouting barracks spotting the army for the yellow player will likely go down, actually. Not a bad pickup for our yellow player. I do like how both players are expanding a lot. You, all things considered, doing a great job at keeping up in this game. Taking a look at the total supply, though, 169, almost nice, for the red player to 127 for our yellow player, and that is likely because of the harassment you is suffering this game. But I do like that he's still placing bases. He's got his army split, which I'm not so sure is the right move in this case. I mean, he's not really using this army is my main concern. And that is likely because Terran is heavily turtled. Wait a minute, how many tanks do we have? 19 tanks in this game. That's absolutely disgusting. This army would stand no chance. Oh, here are the fuses, by the way. They look like something from Avatar or something. I think they look super cool, and I like that. The ward, which is a support unit, getting supported by the fuse. And how much total shields does it have now? 625. Absolutely outrageous. Some movement from our red Terran player, though. The Hellbat's morphing and drifting across the map. Oh, good timing on that Oculus, though. Getting sight on all these siege tanks. But I don't know if this is the right move. The siege tank's throwing down a lot of damage, but you know what? You has a lot more understanding of the Keiron than I do. All those siege tanks going down. And you, I think, coming out well ahead in that engagement. Taking a look at the resources lost, almost identical, 10,000 each. And we are now at 13 minutes into the game, and we've got bases basically all over the map. This is amazing. Some pretty well-matched players, I gotta say, and the Myriad here as well. This is like a grounded carrier, but it holds 3 Elytrons, which are kind of like your interceptor equivalents, and I really like the design. It's like a giant kind of beetle or something, as well as the turtles here. The Inducer, also a very cool unit. It does kind of DPS based on how far away it is from something. Great timing here. So as you can see, it shoots a ball of energy, which then floats to its back. So the closer it is to something, the faster it deals damage, but its range is really good. 12 range on that thing, which isn't bad at all. The Thors here taking some hits and running back to the safety of the siege tank. Now, the siege tank does outrange the Inducer by 1. The siege tank does have that 13 range when it is in its siege mode. So the Inducer isn't necessarily a complete answer to the siege tank, but if you can walk them a little far forward and you can handle taking a few hits, you can pick off some siege tanks as long as there aren't like 30 of them or something like that. The Hellbat's coming to engage this Keiron army, and now it looks like the Thors throwing down the hurt, forcing the Keiron player to retreat. A lot of back and forth this game, that's got to be said. More pulsars being built, as well as another Inducer here, and we've got, oh man, we got a lot of pariahs. I say it virtually every game. The pariah is basically a mix between an adept and a zealot. It's got a short range projection ability, which is your shade equivalent. Yep, right there. And it can actually project through units, so they can really stack on top of a lot of things, and I like this. The pariahs throwing some damage onto these rocks, but the siege tank's able to spot it, throwing down a few shots and forcing the pariahs to retreat. And both players now looking like they are getting ready to macro the command center here. What is this? Base like number 6 or something? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, I think this is base number 6 landing. And this is not even a planetary. This is just an orbital command chilling in the middle of the map, which is hilarious. These Hellions trying to do some damage, but the Nullifier's able to keep this base safe. And the Pariahs, great timing here, spotting the command center. And Alex, great reaction time, my guy, lifting this thing off before taking really more than one shot. Not bad. Oh, here we go, though. A planetary fortress. You know what? That Pulsar actually taking a few hits from it really well. A big pull of SCVs, though. Will they be able to save this? No, they won't, but we've got battle cruisers that have made themselves known, and they are warping somewhere else. I did not get a good look. Where are they? Warping into the main base for the Terran player back to safety. But now you knows that battle cruisers are on the field. What will he build in response to this? He is building a Pantheon, which allows Titans and the Aegis. Now, the Aegis is basically your mothership equivalent, but it's always tethered to a Citadel, which is your Nexus equivalent. So it can't fly around, but it can teleport, and it's more of a defense structure. It has a huge shield ability, which actually physically prevents you from walking into it, which is really cool. We'll see if that's what our yellow player decides to do. A lot of siege kind of chilling on this side of the map. They did take out what was, I think, base number 5. The Inducers trying their best to throw down some damage, but, you know, a lot of the siege tanks went down. We've got a handful of Thors here. We'll see if Alex decides to keep up with the push, deciding to destroy the macro structures. Not a bad move. So that will remove, I believe, some warp charges for our yellow Keiron player U. We got a few more Pariahs here, and by a few more, I mean like 15 of them or something like that, chilling right on these minerals, keeping an eye on this base. And you know what? I don't know if projection allows them to shade through minerals. I don't think it does. I know they can shade through units. I have not seen them shade through minerals. Otherwise, you could really abuse that power, like, extensively. Anyways, what is this, like 5 or 6? I think 5 battle cruisers flying across the map. Do we have any sort of defense? We got one Stratus here, which will easily go down. Actually, 2 Stratuses, excuse me, but no army to speak of. There's a lot of pressure right now on him, and there's no army supply to support this base. How many workers killed this game? 109 workers killed this game by our red player, excuse me. And they warp away. I don't know where they did. I'm assuming back home. I don't see any red on the mini-map around the yellow side of the map. These Cruxes, though, trying to maybe do some damage to this orbital command, but really not doing enough to set it on fire. Either way, kind of rejecting the placement of the base at the very least. And taking a look at the total supply, all things considered, not so bad, considering that you lost over 100 supply in workers this game. 198 to 181, a slight lead for red, but all things considered, not that bad. What are these? More command centers being built for our red Terran player. I wonder if these are also going to be planetary fortresses or if they're going to migrate somewhere else. Either way, not even getting canceled, I don't think. I didn't see the cancel animation. And the Pariahs shading into the back of the mineral line. This base going down, all these workers going down. What a big pickup for our yellow Keiron player. And in the meantime, these Inducers taking out some of these tanks. The wards here able to throw down some bubbles over these units to help support them just a little bit more. Also, one thing to keep in mind is the Inducer does shoot up and down, and I believe it outranges the battle cruiser by almost double. This command center, the orbital command, going down or potentially going down. It is on fire. Will Alex be able to save it? Suddenly, it looks like the yellow player is making a comeback. These Inducers doing so much work, and the Pariahs able to wipe so many workers. Let's take a look at how many workers killed now. 110 to 46, still in favor for red by a lot, but I mean, U is now catching up in this game. We've got some Thors, though, trying to be heroes here, as well as a couple siege tanks, which were consequently spotted by those converters. We see some movement here, and the Titan. Oh, man, the Titan, this is like a Colossus equivalent, but it only shoots one unit at a time, but it is anti-ground, and it's a massive unit. Oh, look at this, though. All these Thors getting melted by the Pulsars, and the Titan with the Myriad support with the one Elytron, all that stuff going down. The battle cruisers on the top left-hand side of the map potentially taking out this base. I don't even know what number that is. Like I said earlier, a lot of back and forth in this game, I think. I think I said that earlier. I already forgot. This battle cruiser will go down. I don't know if the other ones saved themselves. Yes, they did, deciding to warp back home. How many battle cruisers do we even have right now? Taking a look, let's see. We've got 9 of them. Not so bad. I could have sworn it looked like a lot more than 9, though. These Keiron units moving across the map. The Elytrons here able to get some attacks off on these SCVs, but the siege tank able to defend those workers. Now, you know what? Taking a look at the total supply, it's still in favor for our red Terran player, but the army composition is clearly, I think, favoring our yellow player. It really depends if the battle cruisers kind of just reach critical mass and are just impossible to deal with, especially with their tactical jump. I mean, that is so annoying. Tactical jump does have a long cooldown, though, so Alex does have to be strategic in how he uses it. Now, these Pulsars, even though they do a great job against Thors, they only shoot down, and Alex picking them all off. These battle cruisers getting vengeance for their fallen comrades, the Thors. Oh, yep, now this base, I think base number 4, is under fire from our battle cruisers, and it looks like U is a little bit out of position to deal with this. We also don't have an Aegis, I don't think, so this base going down. The battle cruisers flying into the main base for our yellow player, and the Hellions here as well, canceling out this base. How many workers killed now? 139 killed by red. That is absolutely disgusting. The Pulsars cleaning these up, but the battle cruisers are something else to deal with. We got the Paragons here, though, and the Paragons, they have a range of 10 against air and only 6 against ground, but they do outrange the battle cruisers in air-to-air combat. Now, the only thing is we've got 3 of them, right? I think there's only 3 of them on the field right now. Yep, this is all the capital ship capability for our yellow player, and one of them already went down. So, yep. Now we got 2 Paragons. They do warp in pretty much instantly. Keep that in mind. Here we go. Is this another one? I can't click on it. Yep, that's a Paragon right there. Another one warping in. They've also got the Emissary Orb, which is basically like a giant ball of splash damage. It deals 150 damage to a primary area, and then like some splash damage as well. A really cool looking unit, I gotta say. It's got like this angry face on it. It looks like, I don't know, something from a space game like Elite Dangerous or something. Here we go, though. This base likely will get canceled. The SCVs repairing each other, trying to reassure each other that they are safe, but I'm not so sure they're safe. Also, you know what? Unless Alex can save this thing, I'm not even sure it's worth repairing because, yeah, we got air units here. And, I mean, the Paragons could just move forward and start picking off SCVs. I would almost be tempted to run these things away, but on the back of all this, it looks like Alex going for the full commit. Base number 3. Wait, no, this is, yeah, base number 3 under fire. We got some siege tanks on the back of this as well, and some battle cruisers flying into the main base, taking out all the zeniths, which allow Paragons to be built from citadels. And you know what? Each structure that gets taken out will reduce the charge, or the charges, the Paragon charges. So taking all these out will prevent you from building more Paragons. Oh, that is going to be rough. I think the Paragons did fly back home. Yep, here they are, trying to salvage what is remaining of the yellow base. Meanwhile, a little bit of a strike force here, but a lot of repairs being put on that planetary fortress. I think it will possibly survive, and these battle cruisers are still alive. You not necessarily keen on engaging this army, and the main base effectively cleaned up. No more Paragons will be built for our yellow player. In fact, the only stuff he's got left is the natural base and like his 4th base location. The Aegis is finished. Here it is, but I don't think it's going to do much. And even if you is able to take out all those battle cruisers, Alex has macro. He still has structures to build stuff with, right? I mean, not all his bases are mining necessarily, but he still has buildings to do things with. And he's got 2,000 minerals. Not a lot of gas, though. Yu does have this base, and it's still mining. Let's take a look at the worker supply. 36 SCVs to, where are our converters? Only 12 converters. Taking a look at the workers killed, 180 workers killed to 82 in favor for our red player. But Yu is still in this game. This has to be his final push, though. We'll see if he can make anything happen. And on top of this, we got Stratuses, but no nullifiers. If you can't defend this base, I think that's all she wrote for this game. We shall see, though. Yu going full commit into this army, but I think it's not going to be enough. The Inducers trying to put in their overtime, and you know what? Actually doing a great job. Yu, though, throwing out the GG, giving the victory to our red Terran player, Alex. What a sick matchup. Big shout out to my members and patrons. I really appreciate the extra layer of support. If you guys enjoyed what you saw, please consider shooting me a like and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it, and I'll see you guys on the next one.